Beowulf, Part 36. He was called Wiglaf, son of Weohstan, a valued shield warrior, prince of the Schelfings, kinsman of Aelfhere. He saw his lord suffering the heat under his war helm. Then he called to mind the favor which formerly he had bestowed on him, the rich dwelling place of Wegmundings, all the rights his father possessed. He could not then hold back. His hand seized the shield, the yellow linden wood, drew the ancient sword that was among men a relic of Eanmund, son of Hotir. Weohstan slew him in battle with the edge of the sword, a friendless exile, and bore off from his kin the bright gleaming helm, the ringed corselet, the gigantic old sword that Onela gave him, his kinsman's war trappings, ready battle equipment. He spoke not of the feud, though he had killed his brother's child. Many years he held the adornments, brand and corselet, until his son could achieve mighty deeds like his father. Then, when he departed from life, old in his passing hence, he gave among the Geats an exceeding number of battle garments. That was the first time that the young warrior was to stand the rush of battle with his prince. His spirit did not weaken, nor did his father's sword fail in the fight. The dragon discovered that when they had come together. Wiglaf spoke, uttered many fighting words to his comrades. His mind was sad. I remember that time when we were drinking mead, when in the beer hall we promised our Lord, who gave us these rings, that we would requite him for the war gear, the helms and sharp swords, if need such as this came upon him. He chose us among the host of his own will for this venture. He reminded us of famous deeds and gave me these treasures, the more because he counted us good spear warriors, bold bearers of the helmets, though our Lord, the protector of the people, purposed to achieve this mighty task unaided, because among men he had wrought most famous deeds, daring ventures. Now the day has come when our Lord needs the strength of valiant warriors. Let us go to help our warlike prince while the fierce dread flame yet flares. God knows that as for me, I had much rather the flame should embrace my body with my gold giver. It does not seem fitting to me that we should bear shields back to our dwelling if we cannot first fell the foe, guard the life of the prince of the Veters. I know well that from his former deeds he deserves not to suffer affliction alone among the warriors of the Geats, to fall in fight. Sword and helmet, corselet and shirt of mail shall be shared by us both. He went then through the deadly reek, bore his helmet to the aid of the prince. Few words he spoke. Dear Beowulf, achieve all things well, as thou saidst long ago in thy youth, that thou wouldst not let thy repute fail while life lasted. Now, resolute chieftain, mighty in deeds, thou must guard thy life with all thy strength. I will help thee. After these words, the dragon came raging once more, the dread, evil creature, flashing with surges of flame to seek out his foes. He hated men. The shield was burnt away to the rim by waves of fire. The corselet could not give help to the young shield warrior, but the youth fought mightily beneath his kinsman's buckler when his own was consumed by the flames. Then again, the warlike king was mindful of fame. He struck with his battle sword with mighty strength, so that, urged by the force of hate, it stuck in his head. Negling burst apart. Beowulf's sword, ancient and gray, failed in fight. It was not granted to him that the edges of swords might aid him in the struggle, when he bore to battle the weapons hardened by blood of wounds. His hand was too strong. He, who, as I've heard, tried every sword beyond its strength. He was in evil plight. Then, for the third time, the enemy of the people, the bold fire dragon, was mindful of fighting. He rushed on the mighty man when a chance offered, hot and fierce in fight. He clutched his whole neck with sharp teeth. Beowulf grew stained with his lifeblood. The gore welled out in surges. Part 37. Then I heard that in the peril of the people's prince, the exalted earl showed courage, strength, and daring, as was his nature. He guarded not his head, but the brave man's hand burned when he helped his kinsman, so that he, the man in his armor, beat down a little the hostile creature, and the sword sank in, gleaming and plated, and the fire after began to abate. Then once more the king himself was master of his thoughts. He brandished the battle knife, keen and sharp for the fray, which he wore on his corselet. The protector of the leaders cut through the dragon in the midst. They felled the foe. Force drove out his life, and then they both had slain him, the noble kinsman. Such should a man be, a thane in time of need. That was the last victory for the prince by his own deeds, the end of his work in the world. Then the wound which erstwhile the earth dragon dealt him began to burn and swell. He found forthwith that the poison was working with pestilent force within his breast. Then the chieftain went till, taking wise thought, he sat down on a seat by the wall. He gazed on the works of giants, saw how the eternal earth building held within stone arches, firm fixed by pillars. Then with his hands the exceeding good thane bathed him with water. The blood-stained famous prince, his friendly lord, wearied with battle, and loosened his helm. Beowulf spoke. He talked of his wound, of the hurt sore unto death. He knew well that he had ended his days, his joy on earth. Then all his length of days was passed away. Death was exceedingly close. Now I would give armor to my son, if it had been so granted that any heir sprung from my body should succeed me. I have ruled this people for 50 years. There was no people's king among the nations about who durst come against me with swords, or oppress me with dread. I have lived the appointed span in my land, guarded well my portion, contrived no crafty attacks, nor sworn many oaths unjustly. Stricken with mortal wounds, I can rejoice in all this. Wherefore the ruler of men has no cause to blame me for the slaughter of kinsmen when my life passes out from my body. Now, dear Wiglaf, do thou go quickly to behold the hoard under the grey stone, now that the dragon lies low, sleeps sorely wounded, spoiled of the treasure. Haste now that I may see the old riches, the golden treasure, may eagerly gaze on the bright gems of artful work, so that after winning the great store of jewels, I may the more easily leave life and land which long I have guarded. Well, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And remember, I love you guys. As Tigger says, ta-ta for now.